Learn the secrets of success. Exclusive insights and information from the experts. Tag Radio. Ready to let your mind go wherever technology leads? Then tag, you're it. Tag Radio. Here today. Imagine tomorrow. What would you call a handheld device that has a multiple touchscreen with virtual keyboard that includes a camera, portable media player, voice communication, text messaging, visual voicemail, email, web browsing, and Wi-Fi connectivity? A portable appliance that offers conferencing, merging of communications from multiple locations with a library that sorts and plays songs, artists, and albums. Oh, on its home screen, and remember, it's a handheld device driven directly by the touch of your finger, are applications like YouTube, stocks, maps, weather, clock, calculator, and for taking notes. Time magazine called it Invention of the Year in 2007. It sold 270,000 units in the first 30 hours on its launch weekend. And a little over 45 days later, it had reached sales of 1 million, and by the end of this last October, reached over 1,390,000 units and growing. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, December 18th, 2007. And this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of President Dino Mantella. I'm your guest host, Frank Baia. The device, launched in the mind of Apple CEO Steve Jobs just last January at the Macworld Convention that soon became the Invention of the Year and breaking sales records in mere months, the iPhone. Exclusively from AT&T, the iPhone combines a mobile phone, a widescreen iPod, and a breakthrough Internet capability into one small, lightweight, handheld device. Today on Tech Talk, we speak with AT&T President, National Distribution, Glenn Lurie, to explore AT&T's role in this amazing technological advancement and its market launch success, the company's groundbreaking partnership with Apple, and really what's ahead in the exponentially expanding market of worldwide wireless communication and collaboration. Glenn heads up AT&T's national retail operations, national dealers, direct response, e-store sales, and service via AT&T.com wireless. He's directly responsible for growing the company's business inside national channels. He joined the company in 1990 and rapidly advanced up the corporate executive arena, reaching VP Regional Vice President positions and soon Senior VP West Region, representing more than 40% of the company's overall business. The iPhone, the future of wireless connectivity, and a look inside AT&T's historic partnership with Apple as we Tech Talk with AT&T President, National Distribution, Glenn Lurie. Glenn, welcome to Tech Talk.
Hey, thank you very much, Frank. I appreciate it.
Now, I got to tell you, with a list of titles like that, I've got to start out by asking you from a layman's standpoint, just what does a day look like for you at AT&T?
Well, the days have been fun. A day for me is really focused around our national distribution channels. You listed a few in the opening. You know, we have responsibility in my group for 5 of our 8 channels that sell AT&T mobility products and services. So I spend a lot of time with our partners such as Walmart, Radio Shack, Best Buy, Costco, those types of large national retailers. I also spend a lot of time with some of our web partners. I spend time with our wholesalers, and also, obviously, I have responsibility for ATT.com, the sales and service on our web business, and also our direct mail, direct response business. So there's a lot going on, but my main goal in life is to grow the business for AT&T Mobility.
Boy, I got to tell you, again, that sounds like, I guess it's a little longer than a 4-hour day. I'm thinking maybe 12 or 16, and you probably don't do lunch unless it's on the run. I'm not sure there's virtual lunches or something like that.
Yeah, you're right. It's busy, but you know what? This is such a fun and energizing business. It has just been terrific. I mean,
well, I can hear the passion in your voice,
absolutely.
But you know, we all complain about connectivity and wanting to get kind of disconnected every once in a while. I got a feeling that you're embedded totally, and it must be almost 7 days a week.
It absolutely is. And,
but you love it.
It's great. I love it. And,
yeah.
you know, it's great because, again, you know, I think people in Atlanta especially know that, you know, 3 years ago, it seems like a long time ago, Singular bought AT&T Wireless, and back when that transaction took place, a lot of people were concerned around how these two, quote-unquote average wireless companies would do, and I think we've just had such an incredible run of growth over the last 3 years that just is totally energizing.
Really exciting. Now, again, just not only the growth in terms of the size of market and geographic areas, now we're talking about technological turnover. I mean, the rapid change almost daily. I mean, we talk here about everything is so 20 minutes ago, as far as new technologies are concerned. Let's look back for a little bit on this whole phenomenon called the iPhone. Surely it not only was what you hoped, but probably a little bit more than a surprise.
Yeah, you know what? It's been incredible. I made the comment a few times. I've had the luxury of being involved with the deal, and I was at the very first meeting with Steve Jobs and his team, and I was asked to take point for AT&T Mobility on the deal. So I've been involved in the negotiations and planning. I basically said a long time ago, if this thing is as good as all the hype, we will have hit a home run. I said, if this thing is better than the hype, we'll hit a grand slam, and we've hit a grand slam. I mean, this has just taken off like wildfire. Steve and his team have built an amazingly innovative product, and I think we are very, very excited about the initial responses and customer satisfaction levels of the product.
Take us a little bit deeper into that, though. I mean, how does something like that happen? Had you guys been courting him? Had he been courting you? Was it a case of there's collaboration that happens on that level? How does something like this happen?
Well, in this case, we had done some business with Apple. We launched a phone called the Rocker. It was a three-way deal with Motorola building the actual device, and Apple agreeing to put their iTunes client in the device, and us obviously agreeing to have the device on our network as an exclusive product to us. And during that process, Steve Jobs and our then CEO and COO, so our CEO was Stan Sigman and our COO was Ralph De La Vega, worked very closely together on that project. And Steve called Stan back in late 2004, right about the time that our companies came together, and said, I want to talk about a vision I have. And when he did that, we then, Ralph and Stan and myself, went and sat down with Steve and had our first meeting in early 2005 about what he was thinking. And that's what started it. And we spent a lot of time talking and a lot of time understanding what he was looking at and him understanding our business. And it took us a couple of years, but we got the agreement put together. And then everybody saw what happened at Macworld earlier in last January, and that was the beginning. And then we launched it on June 29th.
I'm thinking it probably took 2 years just to put the agreement together, no less than looking at potential market penetration, how you would distribute it. What kind of research? Did you guys do any kind of focus grouping or like that? Or was it something that you guys just already, sort of like in your DNA, you knew this was right and how to distribute it?
I'll be honest with you, we actually got the deal approved by our board without ever seeing a phone. So it was not a normal deal. I mean, Steve had this vision. We bet, the bottom line is we bet on people. We bet on the fact that with the success that Steve and team have had with iPod and the innovation they've had with iTunes and how those two things work together, the fact that they had sold 100 million iPods, that we bet on Steve and his team, and it was a great bet. I mean, we knew how innovative they are. We knew how they simplify things. They gave us some understanding of what they thought they could build, but reality is they just far, far exceeded even our expectations as we started to get through the development of the device.
And things like pricing structures and forms of distribution, those were just kind of innate as far as looking at it from a value-added proposition and what features it would have?
Yes and no. I mean, I think, first of all, your earlier point is dead on. It took us a long time to get a deal done. I mean,
sure.
we built a deal that was a first of its kind in the wireless space, so our partnership is very different. And how we go about it and how we work together. We also, though, the key to the partnership is that it's exclusive to us. And a lot of people ask the question, so why would you or them want to do that? Well, the real reason is we want to innovate together. And like visual voicemail, which you mentioned in the opening, which is an unbelievable breakthrough, a great part of this device, and exclusive to this device, was actually built in coordination with each other. Apple said, we have an idea, could you do this? And we said, we'll do it on the network. You guys obviously have to build it on the device and resonate it correctly on the device. And they did that, and we built that together. And that's the innovation we want to have in this partnership that you really can't have if they're sitting in my office one day and my competitor's office the next.
Mm-hmm. So, in other words, you see this more like a marriage than a honeymoon. It's something that not only obviously will back success of the iPhone, the continuation of the upgrades of the iPhone capability, but maybe more collaboration in the future with other appliances?
Absolutely. Yeah, we actually see this as more collaboration around the iPhone, potential other iPhones as they come out. But you nailed it. This is definitely a marriage. I've been asked many times, talking to the media and others, about the courtship, and I said that's exactly what it was. We sat down in a room, but we didn't know each other well. We kind of went on a blind date. And as we've worked through it, we got to know each other better and better. And reality is, we both had to earn each other's trust. Apple has a bit of a history of struggling with partners, and I can tell you they've been a terrific partner for us. But we've all gone at this thing very open, honest, and open-minded to how do we do the right thing for the customer. That's always been the focus of the partnership, is how do we build innovation, how do we bring things that customers want and that we believe will enrich customers' lives. And every time we had an issue, we always said, well, what would the customer want us to do, and that's how we solved it.
That's as huge as any of the innovation has got to be. Because
absolutely.
I mean, we all talk about not being able to move forward alone and having to deal in collaboration, but that kind of set up with two major giants, and I'm thinking two major egos, not to make any judgments, but just clearly if you're in that space and you're doing the kind of success on both sides of the company, both of the companies, one would think that part had to be, almost right of authorship, and where did some of the original innovations and how you all sat around the table. And I guess it's a round table and not one of those with a head, with a chair at the front of the room or something.
You're right. And here's a couple of things to think about. Both of us are probably not the easiest folks to work with. Let's just be honest, right?
Sure.
So the thing we had to do many, many times was leave our egos at the door and sit down and talk in earnest about
guns and knives as well.
You bet. But you know what? It's really been a great relationship from that perspective. We've learned a lot from them. I think if you were talking to Steve or the folks in his team that I deal with on a regular basis, they've learned from us, and we've both been open to that to try to do the right thing for the wireless space. But we knew this was going to change the industry. We really did. I mean, the first time I touched it, saw it, played with it, saw the software and the intelligence on the device, I knew this was a game changer. And from that point on, we went about this understanding that we had to be very, very cautious and make sure everything was perfect at launch, and that was our goal.
Boy, I'll tell you, a game changer. You got layers and tentacles just with that. I mean, the game-changing devices, the game-changing marketplace. Over the weekend, I heard about Lemonade.com. Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't heard that one.
Well, this is using Facebook and social networking for mass marketing, almost a multi-level type marketing where individuals would be able to recommend a product. I guess where I'm headed here is mass collaboration. I would think the tool that we're talking about here has got to be a key component as we move forward in this whole, what are they calling it now, Weeconomics, and and the issue of mass collaboration. I guess you guys are looking at that as well, obviously.
We are, and when you have a device that's this diverse, you got to remember this is the first device that really put a full browser out there in your hand. Most of the wireless plays were always a WAP browser, which is for those that don't understand, a WAP browser is a browser that was built so it would fit correctly on a small screen. And really what that does is takes a lot of the graphics and a lot of the things people love out of that browsing experience. And what this device has done is just opened up the doors for you to go browse and search the internet like you would sitting at your desk or at your home. And when you look at that and you start talking about some of these great things like a Lemonade.com or even eBay's, or you think about the unbelievable amount of applications that can be used with this device, I mean, I don't know that we even understand today what's going to happen. And, Steve has announced that he's going to be allowing some developers to get involved in building applications for the device. I think that's terrific. I mean, I just think that is a wonderful thing that's going to improve all the usability on this device, because you're going to see thousands of applications being built by developers out there that's going to make the device even that much better.
Well, is that something you guys are looking at inviting? I mean, is that something like almost an open source, this collaborative type of an attitude?
Yes. Yeah, he's announced that. Yeah. Yep. What he's going to do is he's going to go out with a kit that just similar to what he's done with the Macintosh and he's done with other things, that's going to allow folks to build apps. But when you think about having a device like this that can just surf the web with a full browser, you can build and go onto any site you want. And so what that's created is a whole new level of usability of a device. And to me, that's just going to continue to drive the innovation around this device. Now, it's also going to drive innovation around other devices, right? Mm-hmm. Other manufacturers now are looking at this thing going, wow, I got to catch up. And they're starting to build some better devices too. And all of that is terrific for the consumer, small or large business person out there who's looking to resolve issues or to get more productivity out of their device.
Probably one way to deal with the technology shock of the potential rapid exponential growth of these kind of technologies is to get one of these things and get with it now so that you can progress with it as it evolves rather than trying to catch it in another year from now when all of these other applications will be added to it. It seems like, I would think early adoption in some of the cases, although the numbers don't show it, has been somewhat of a resistance just simply because, is it complicated? I've seen them. I don't own one, but
no, it's scarily easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a great example. Obviously, me being in the middle of this, I purchased one for my wife and my son. My son's 14, and my wife, if I told your age, I get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But they both put it in their hands and said, go. I didn't help them. I didn't help them activate it. I didn't help them use it. And both of them did it on their own. They activated it in less than 5 minutes on our new activation process on the web, which we do through iTunes. They both were up and browsing within a minute. They both were all over it so fast and so easily. And you're talking about two different generations. My son obviously should be, right? He's 14. That's what they do. But it's phenomenal to watch people because it is so intuitive. That's what Apple does really, really well. Back to your other question and the point you made, I think is valid. And I'm not, obviously I'll make the sales pitch, but absolutely people should dive into this thing now. And the reason I say that is this is a mini computer that can be updated
Sure.
and upgraded. So just like your iPod, for those of you out there, there's a lot of people out there with iPods. You jump onto iTunes and it says, we have an upgrade of software for your iPod. Do you want that? We're doing the same thing, and Apple's doing the same thing with the iPhone, in that as we bring out new applications, all it is software, and you can upgrade it and update your phone. So all these things, and they've already done 3 or 4 since we launched the device, adding new applications. So this is the first really handheld device. There's absolutely no concern about it being outdated because you can continue to upgrade it.
Sure.
And like you said, you can get into this technology today and get rolling with it and run with it because it's going to continue to just get better and better.
We're talking to Glenn Lurie, President of AT&T National Distribution. Glenn, touch a little bit. I know we really didn't talk about this before our discussion in prep for the discussion today on Tech Talk, but right now it's very hot. A big issue for a lot of the technology community is this area of mass collaboration.
Sure.
And one of the issues is, how do you commercialize mass collaboration? Give us your opinion on that. How do you make money in a situation where everybody's collaborating together and there doesn't seem to be any revenue model, just contribution of idea or innovation?
Well, I think, but first of all, I think there's always a model that works. First of all, we have to be really cognizant of what our customers want, first and foremost. And you got to remember with us, we being AT&T, we're obviously in the business of making sure we give people the ability to connect and have connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
And if customers want to come on to use our, I'll call it our pipe for lack of a better term, whether it's mobility or a wired pipe, and they're going to use it in that way, we're great with it. I mean, the bottom line is when you have that kind of collaboration out there, innovative things will come from that collaboration. And people will figure out ways to utilize what we offer. And you got to remember,
sort of an all boats rise kind of a thing. I mean, you know your market, you understand
absolutely.
it, so the more it expands, the more you're going to continue to grow and get your share of it.
You're absolutely right. And by the way, our role in this is that, we are a wireless company and we are a wired company. And from the wireless side, my job is to make sure that we get more penetration, sell more devices, and people use more minutes and more megabytes, right? And when you think about that, the world is going to continue to evolve. I mean, if you and I were having this conversation 5 years ago or a year ago, it would have been a very different conversation because of the way technology has sped up. And so from our perspective, we believe absolutely the tide will rise, all boats will go up, and we'll be in the middle of it. We are the largest mobility company in the country and the largest overall telecommunications company in the world. We have to make sure, though, that we take care of our customers, and that's the focus.
What in the world do you guys talk about in a visioneering session? Beaming devices? Can you guys actually charge by the minute for Star Trek devices? I mean, is that really in play? Some kind of hologram or something.
Yeah, we talk about it. The fun part about technology is the fact that it's always ever changing. I've been in the wireless business for 18 years, and the wireless business is arguably only about 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, you think every year, gosh, what are we going to do next? And I look back, I've got sitting on my desk, all the old devices from the years past. It is so incredible where we are, but then we have to also pinch ourselves and say, well, where are we going to be 5 years from now? Where are we going to be a year from now based upon the Internet's expansion, based upon the type of data networks that we're putting out there?
Hyperconnectivity, speed,
Yeah.
all this.
you're gonna be able to, with our HSDPA network we have today, you're getting the kind of speeds and throughput that allow you pretty much to do anything you need to do on your device anywhere you want to do it. You don't have to be strapped to a desk or strapped to your home. So it changes everything. And we're talking, whether you talk consumer, you talk small or large business, it's all there for us to go grow it. And we feel very, very good how we're positioned in the marketplace.
Has AT&T registered the name HAL?
Name Hal?
HAL from 2001. Because, the eventuality is some form of artificial intelligence, I guess, where the computers really start talking. You talk about doing things with these appliances. I'm beginning to think the appliance will kind of begin to tell us what needs to be done. Heck, they're already doing it already.
It's incredible. And back to iPhone, like you're saying, this is arguably
the
3 years ahead of everything else in the marketplace. You don't see leapfrogs like this very often.
Yeah, surely. It's the beginning of all of the kind of things we all talked about or dreamed or visioneered about as far as science fiction is concerned in terms of that kind of connectivity. Now, we've kind of covered the iPhone. Talk a little bit about the rest of the story. You're involved in national distribution. Go through some of the other responsibilities. One of the things that we're talking about is technology, but you've got source to consumption happening in every vertical. So my guess is that you're impacted by what we talked about earlier, e-commerce and some of the new methods of distribution and the idea that people like Walmart are cutting out events from source to consumption in order to lower costs but keep margins up. How do you guys look at that situation?
We first of all, we're very, very proud of our relationships with especially the big boxes. We've got a tremendous long-term relationship with Walmart, and we spend a lot of time sitting down with Walmart, understanding what their goals are and what their needs are, and then how we fit in those and how we obviously maximize our partnership together for customers. But when you look at all the things changing, the business is always changing. The mobility business, the United States is 80+% penetrated. So obviously, there's not too many folks out there you see without a phone. So the folks you don't see with a phone are probably the kids and others. So we spend a lot of time talking about segmentation and how we want to grow our business. We also have a very, very thriving prepaid business with our GoPhone product that is growing rapidly, especially in Walmarts and Radio Shacks and Best Buys. So we spend a lot of time focused on that with them. We also, ATT.com, which is obviously our AT&T website, we spend a lot of time there because a lot of customers now want to be serviced and self-serve themselves through our web. And that's one of the fastest growing areas of our business because when you think about it, why in the world would you ever want to call your telecommunications company if you can solve or do or buy or upgrade or get your accessories on the web from your home or business? So we're seeing a lot more push towards self-service around that side of our business. I spend a lot of time with our web partners, and we do business with Amazon, and we do business with Let's Talk and others. So, when I look at what I do every day, I'm very fortunate. I have an A++ team of vice presidents that work at each of those channels, but we're constantly focused on how we can show and put out there all the different things that AT&T does and does well and the things we offer so that customers have choice in what they buy.
Well, we're running out of time. There's so much to talk to. We had an opportunity to speak to Dr. Edward Amoroso. I don't know if you know Ed or not. He's security chief in the AT&T services. He was also talking about an AT&T channel, an actual video-based training, education, entertainment channel that you guys were starting to beta test. But going to just a real quick now in terms of how does AT&T look at the prepaid wireless? That's an interesting marketplace. Is that really I guess it's an understatement, but everything is about growth anymore. But is that a really hyper-growth market?
Oh, it's huge. It's actually going to be, for the first time in this industry, not just AT&T, but all of wireless inside of the United States, we will see stronger, higher growth in prepaid than we do in postpaid in 2008. And, we believe very strongly in it. We have our GoPhone product today is the number one product in the marketplace as far as revenue growth and net additions and all those things. We feel very good about our prepaid products because reality is this. People used to look at prepaid as hey, if I can't get a postpaid or I can't pass credit or I don't have credit, I'm going to go do prepaid. Now people look at prepaid as an alternative payment method. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. The rest of the world's been more prepaid oriented than the United States since the beginning of mobility and the beginning of wireless. So we are very excited about our prepaid products. In fact, we just recently launched a whole bunch of new distribution. We have over 200,000 places in the United States that you can replenish or buy minutes from us. We have 45,000 plus locations you can go buy a prepaid phone.
So it's core business now, not peripheral anymore, like you say about credit or whatever. It's just an option.
It's an option, and you know what? It's a great option because what it's allowed people to do, it gives you the flexibility. It puts the onus and the flexibility and the decision in the customer's hands that, hey, I got $20 I want to spend on wireless, and I'm going to go buy myself a $20 card. I'm going to load it up and use it. And when I'm done, I'll go use it. I'll go load it up again versus getting a bill every month or having to worry about going too far with it depending on the plan. It's also very, very good for the youth market. It's also very, very good, and many multicultural groups love prepaid because that's what they have always had in the countries they've come to the United States from. So we feel great about it. We think we're positioned better than we ever have this holiday season to really do well in our prepaid and GoPhone products. And like I said, it's going to be a big part of our growth going forward.
Well, it's sort of like iRobot. I got to ask you this one. And, you go into the Atlanta airport, or I go into, I guess it was Macy's I saw that, and you got a vending machine that's selling iPods, vending machines for iPhones?
No, probably not. I mean, it might happen down there. The one difference is you buy an iPod, you charge it up, and you go. Obviously, with an iPhone, there's an activation process that needs to take place, and you need to activate it.
Sure.
It's a little different. We do, by the way, we have sold prepaid phones that way because all of our prepaid activations are done over the phone, so real simple, really, really clean. But the iPhone's a little different animal than that. But I'll tell you, never say never. As we continue to move forward, there's always things that we're looking to do again, we're always trying to improve that experience our customers have with us, and that's one of the things they want. We'll figure out a way to do it.
Well, you know that we're on Tag Radio. Tag Radio's primary broadcast audience is the thousands of members across the state of Georgia that are involved in the technology industry. Your career started in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
You're a relative newcomer, obviously, and maybe, well, except for maybe your soccer. I think I read somewhere you played for Atlanta when you were playing soccer.
Yeah, I did. Okay. Yeah, back in the old days.
You don't want to talk about that, or do you want to talk?
No,
did you play, or did you sit on the bench? No, I'm kidding.
I played a little bit. I was fortunate in that I played ball in college, and I got to play a few years after college, and somebody actually paid me to play, which was really neat and fun. And
sure.
It was great. And I did make a stop in Atlanta back in '89 for the Atlanta Attack, so it was terrific. I mean, in fact, back then my time here in Atlanta was what really made me excited to come back. I mean, my wife and I was my first year of marriage, and we had a ball here, and the people here were so warm and welcoming that when we had the opportunity to come back with Singular, now AT&T Mobility, it made that decision much, much easier for us.
I'm trying to figure out which Spice Girl you ended up with.
I'm a lucky guy. I'll tell you, I married my college sweetheart, and she's been very, very good. And from the standpoint, we've had to move around a little bit over the 18 years, but the opportunity
is the way it works in corporate. Good. You know that. But let's talk a little bit though about your thoughts about the Atlanta telecom industry. Where do you think it's headed? What's your gut feel in terms of having such a broad-based perspective? I guess that's kind of putting you on the spot, but sometimes it's good to hear both. It's not a judgment, an observation. Tell us what your thoughts about the Atlanta telecom industry.
Well, I'll tell you, my thoughts are very positive. Obviously a lot of companies in town, and when you look at the telecom association that's here, which I've been involved with, and you look at all the folks that I've met, it's a thriving telecom industry here. And I'll tell you a quick story. I was on the job when I agreed to come to Atlanta working for Ralph de la Vega. I was on the job for about a week, and I got told I was going to a dinner and Ralph had won an award. And I said, fine. So I went to a dinner. This is in very early 2005, and Ralph was presented with Man of the Year for Atlanta Telecommunications Association. And I met a lot of people in at my first week on the job at this association, and I was blown away. A couple hundred people showed up. It was a wonderful, wonderful event. Met a lot of senior folks in small, medium, and large businesses here in Atlanta. And they were all so excited about how the industry was booming and how well they were doing here. And just so happens that I was offered and I was nominated and won a similar award this year and went to the same exact event, and there were 500 people there, all from all walks of life, all in telecommunications, and it was just a terrific event. But I just love talking to folks because they just love being in Atlanta. They're thriving. They believe the opportunities here are great. So, maybe not biased. I mean, I'm really excited about what's going on here in Atlanta. I'm glad that AT&T Mobility has all the plans in the world to stay here for many years to come, and this is our home, and will be our home for the future.
Well, we've been talking to Glenn Lurie, president of AT&T's national distribution, primarily talking about the iPhone situation. Glenn, I can tell you, anyone that listens to you can hear the passion and the excitement. There's a, you know, I think a lot of us want to be on that edge, want to be in the game at the level that you're playing in. God bless, lots of continued success, and thank you so much for joining us on Tech Talk today.
Hey, thank you very much, Frank. I appreciate the opportunity, and good luck to you as well.
Happy holidays.
You too.